Courtney, thank you for that. Courtney Reagan back at HQ. For more on all things retail, let's bring in Stacy Widlitz, a CNBC retail analyst who always brings a fresh set of eyes to upgrades and downgrades. Morning, Stacy. Good to see you. Would the city have a point here on JCP?
Well, I mean, the street loves a great turnaround story. And I think here, certainly, we've removed some of the near-term liquidity issues. Certainly have things bottom. Has Ullman reassured vendors? Yes. Do I believe that this story is really taking hold and really going to turn around? Not necessarily. Look at the competitive landscape. Look how they've really permanently scared away a good portion of their customers. But yes, certainly the home business has been a wreck. I mean, it's gone to 12% of the business from 20%. So could it get a little bit better? Sure.
Are positive comps good enough? How positive do they need to be in the remainder of the year?
They're not. I mean, think about the last 2 years of comps, down huge. So just to say that they will have positive comps and that's the driver, that's just not enough here. We've really got to see an acceleration in the business.
But there is surely, with a brand of this size, physically across the United States, huge latent power. This was a stock that traded at 85. Then more recently the peak was 42.
Sure.
I mean, you could make an awful lot of money with small gains from the bottom, couldn't you? If you went in at this level.
Oh, sure. And certainly, again, I think you'll see a lot of upgrades just based on the fact that we've removed a lot of these near-term frightening issues like liquidity. So
could I double my money?
You know what?
Do you have a price target?
I don't have a price target. I would stay away from JCPenney. Again, I think so if they do low single-digit comps and margins continue to decline, because, by the way, the competitive environment is still incredibly tough, and they're going to still have to jam those coupons down consumers' throats to get them back in the stores.
Speaking of margin decline, American Eagle's in for a tough couple of quarters, right?
Yes. So. Carl, you and I 3 years ago stood here and had a conversation about margins being down almost 1,000 basis points in the teen space. Guess what? We're still having the same conversation today. There are too many stores. We're talking promotional environment, and I think that teen retailers are significantly underestimating the power of fast fashion.
They are looking at, for Q1, sales down 7 to 9, inventory up 7 to 9, and in an environment where it's all H&M, right?
Exactly.
And Zara. Are they going to have to reposition the way Hollister appears to be repositioning?
Yeah, so, it's interesting. The teen space keeps saying to us, we're going to shorten lead times, we're going to get our fashion better, but it just doesn't seem to happen. They're getting killed by fast fashion, who's nimble, who's quicker. That's where the consumer's going. That's where the dollar's going.
So how do the same store sales being up 20% at Free People or 10% up at Anthropology, how does that fit into the argument? Because clearly they are doing something right. They are stocking what people want.
Yes.
Why can't they bring that out to the entire business?
Yes, so if you look at Urban Outfitters, Urban was down, comps were down 9%, but Free People and Anthro are doing incredibly well because they're differentiated concepts, they're fresh, they're interesting. So there are stories that are working. The footwear category is working incredibly well, but what the apparel players have to do is A, reduce stores. The footprints are just still too large, and second, become more like fast fashion and more nimble and give the consumer that freshness and what they want.
Finally, you mentioned stories that are working. Macy's with an upgrade today out of Wells, and then Dick's basically making good on its promise back in early February.
Yeah, I mean, Dick's, the comps were up 7% here, and it's all about footwear. We've talked about that, footwear is the new handbag, the new accessory. That's where the consumer's spending their money. So there are definitely spaces that are working out there. Accessories, footwear, and certain apparel players that have differentiated concepts.
It's a tough industry to get your head around, but you do a nice job.
Incredibly tough.
Nice to see you stateside, Stacey.
You too.
See you later on.
Meanwhile, Dow component DuPont is blaming the weather for a challenging first quarter.